Welcome to the Divine Style Podcast with Gerlinda Stella, personal stylist and self-love coach, and Alison Maiden, psychic medium, spiritual healer and metaphysical teacher. Each episode you'll experience spiritual lessons to cultivate self-love and self-expression so you can become the best version of you.
Hi, I'm Gerlinda.
Hi, and I'm Alison.
Today we are talking all about the sacral chakra. Alison, you know so much about all of these energy points in our body. Whereabouts is the sacral chakra located?
So the sacral chakra is the second chakra and it's located just under the belly button. So I'd say probably roughly about 2 centimeters below your belly button, and that's the top of it. And so it's a chakra that goes in a circular motion over most of that lower abdomen.
Okay, and this is also the center of our, I guess you would say, our sexual organs. And I think that that particular chakra is what a lot of people associate when they hear this chakra. Is that mainly what it is, or is it also sort of creativity and some other things?
Oh, it's so much more. Okay, so this one's actually a real doozy. This is the orange chakra. And as we're moving up in vibration with the colour, so we're going from the red at the base, we move up higher in the vibration. So it goes from the red to the orange because the chakra that's above that is actually the solar plexus. So when you mix yellow and red,
you get orange. Magic.
So as the vibration goes up, we find that these are always going to be the gradients of the colour. Okay, so for instance, when you mix yellow and blue, the blue is the throat chakra. We're going to get the one in the middle is green, which is the heart chakra.
It's a rainbow.
I know. So there's all these little things people go, oh, when you point it out to them, like it's amazing. So it's all about the vibration of things, as we know. The orange chakra is about your creativity. Yes, it's part of it, but it's more about how we view our path in the world. So when that chakra is activated shortly after birth, it gives us a purpose, it gives us our direction, it gives us our life lessons, because all of your past life, guilts, fears, life lessons are stored in that chakra.
Incredible. This particular chakra holds all of that memory.
Yeah. So that's how we access those points. So when we come in and we've got our survival chakra full on, okay, so we talked about this last time, it gives us that the need to be here. It gives us the ability to be able to survive. It will show us that we need to obviously eat, we need to sleep, and we need to procreate, okay, in order to keep the message going, if you like, of the human race. But this chakra goes deeper. This one's about why am I personally here?
So who am I?
Yeah, definitely the who am I chakra. What you also have with this one is the different elements as well. So whereas the earth chakra is about that, it's about earth, that's the element, the grounding. This one is a water chakra. So the element is water. Now what happens with water is things flow. Things are allowed to flow. With water, we wash things away. It's our lifeblood as well. And look, let's face it, we are predominantly made of water, okay? So our physical bodies are. So it's very much about the release, the letting go, and the flow of life.
When I've worked with people in the past in terms of even from a styling perspective, and I guess when we talk about this in a healing perspective, often I find that a lot of people do have blockages in this particular chakra due to things like sexual abuse because of where it is situated in the region, people that have maybe had miscarriages or have had losses in their life. How can you help this particular area? Because I think, is it really one that is very common? Do you see this a lot as well?
Oh, absolutely. It's probably one of the most important chakras that we have, because through this we can really find our true peace. But it's letting go of those lessons. We're going to come in with a series of lessons, and that's due to experiences that we've had in previous lifetimes with people. As they cross our path, similar lifetime experiences will come up in this life, not necessarily the same as what they were back then, because let's face it, if you're a Viking and you started murdering a lot of people, you can't do
We
the
can
same.
laugh now.
Yeah, exactly. You can't do the same in this day and age because you do get locked up. But this is the whole purpose of being able to go through that emotion or that loss, or being able to see what it's like on the other side of what you've done to someone. That's what karma is all about. It's like, okay, you've caused this in some other life. Now it's your turn to feel what that feels like. And so when we're looking at the law of cause and effect, it is done without judgment. There is no one sitting up on a cloud pointing at you going, right, you're going to have a really bad life this time around, okay? Because all it is this is what you have to experience. This is what you've done. Now see what it feels like. When you recognize those patterns in your life and you're going, oh, wait, that's right. This happened to me last time. Now, if I change my thinking on this, if I actually let go of that lesson, you don't need it anymore. You don't have it anymore, and you don't attract it anymore. It's really that simple. So like water flows, we have to allow these bad experiences to be released. Forgive ourselves, forgive others that are showing us these things. As I said before, sometimes these people come in as a blessing and a lesson.
All at once.
Both those things. But when we have the ability to see what it's about, why I felt all this loss, why I am always being picked on, why I'm always being judged, it's because you've got to actually look at what you're doing to others around you as well.
Which is really difficult to do at times, especially because we project so much when we're feeling upset or feeling, especially with this particular chakra, it is a lot of feeling. There's a lot of, that sense of I feel in this part and emotion, to project it onto other people. It happens so easily without us even realizing it at times. And then we get it back and we think we're reacting because that person's reacting, but it's them reacting to us as well. So you go around in these
and
big
the cycle
circles.
continues.
Yes.
And that is karma. Okay, in a nutshell. So it's all about cycles. It's all about how much we're going to take from this. Is it happening to you or is it happening for you? When you realize that it's happening for you, wow, that's such a breakthrough.
It is a breakthrough. How are some other ways that you see this particular chakra showing up when it's blocked in your life?
Okay, so it's usually reproductive issues. Now, when we look at the chakra and what the chakra actually represents in the form of the physical, okay, so what organs are actually affected by this particular energy, we look at all the reproductive organs that's in there, okay? We look at the kidneys and we look at the bladder. And so in this particular area, we also have the bowel as well. So let's face it, the bladder and the bowel eliminate waste. They get rid of waste. I've had so many clients over the years that have bladder problems and bowel problems because they hang on to old stuff. There's resentment in there. There's anger. There's revenge. They want revenge.
Being peed off.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. And so those people that get those kidney stones and those, UTIs and sometimes even, the worst, the C word, the bladder and the bowel cancers, they can be caused by huge blockages there because you just cannot let go of the anger and the emotion behind what's causing the physical problem in the first place.
This is a really important chakra to be working with. I mean,
it so is.
Oh my gosh. So we've spoken about this is how it will show up. What are some maybe physical manifestations? So instead of just the body, what about situations? So you said about, being angry at other people.
Yeah. I mean, look, emotion, as we know, is a really key point to any healing. We've spoken about this a few times now. So when we go into past life regression, for instance, which I do quite often with people, because everything comes from an experience that we've had either in this life or previous lifetimes. When we come in with a particular issue, and I think you probably have heard of that term, they've come in with a chip on their shoulder. It's an old one, isn't it? But it's like sometimes kids are just born angry, They've come in with that frown on their face, they don't want to be here, and they end up being quite aggressive little people. And that really does stem from this chakra, because they've come in and they've all of a sudden realised that they've got a hell of a lot of karma that they've got to deal with, mostly because the people that are surrounding them in their family or their friendship groups are going to trigger them. They're going to be going through these lessons. Some of the hardest lessons to learn is to love unconditionally, to be able to look at that person that's triggering you and go, okay, there's got to be something in me that is causing this. That's self-awareness, and that is the first step for healing. And then being able to forgive yourself first, because really, if we don't forgive ourselves, we're not releasing anything, okay? And then forgiving the people that are triggering, because we realize that those people are actually just there to do exactly that.
To show us.
They're our mirrors. It's all coming back to you. This chakra is all about ownership, right? So this is your karma. It's interactive with other people's karma, and what they do with that lesson is their business. It's not your business, right? If you can actually get to that point where you say, well, I'm owning this part of this situation. Let's take a marriage breakup, right? So you've come together with somebody for a purpose. You've come together to either eliminate karma, or you've come together with a lifelong journey together. And I know lots of people. People often say to me, oh, that's not possible. It's not out there. People don't have lifelong journeys. I tell you, I have a beautiful older brother and his wife. They have been together now for, I think it was 51 years, their last wedding anniversary. They've known each other since they were 3 years old. They used to live next door to each other. And they're still together now, and they're in their 70s.
Wow, that's beautiful. It doesn't happen often enough these days, does it?
But there are stories out there like this, where people meet and they're just destined to be together for life. And you're sure they've had their challenges, but they've loved each other through all that time. But what's happened, I think, in this situation, when I look at their life together, they've had 5 kids, they're just brilliant people, and they've come through the normal twists and turns of any life with challenges and illnesses and things like that, but they've always been there for one another. They've never blamed the other for their issue. And so it's come down to so much love and forgiveness in that relationship. They've learned so much from each other that they've really reached that point of almost ascension in this lifetime, because they've learned to unconditionally love.
It is unconditional love is really underrated, and I think a lot of people don't even actually know what it really means to unconditionally love. And I think people can do bad things and things that aren't great, but when you meet them at that soul level, it is very powerful and very beautiful to see someone as spirit, as the soul that they are. And that's how you can unconditionally love, when you realize that all this other stuff is just ego.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, there's always going to be some people out there that aren't going to reach that point of recognition. And so therefore, the relationship will end and you will move on to someone else that can help you to finish that lesson.
It's always lessons.
Usually. So we can get to the point where we don't accept anymore. And I've reached this point in my life quite a few years ago now, where I realized the lesson in relationships I was having, to the point where, I think I've told you this before, like I had the same star sign 3 times over, and the same lesson from that star sign 3 times over. And in fact, 2 of the people who were totally unrelated had the same last name and the same birth date.
Yes, this is amazing that this shows up. And you being psychic, we still get these lessons, right?
People say to me, how come you've been so through that? It must be a rotten psychic if you can't see your own stuff. Well, do you know what? I think that it comes down to your life lessons are always going to be hidden from you, because otherwise, how are you going to learn? You've got to go through it. But when that thing hits you and you go, oh, yeah, okay, here's the pattern, I can see it now, then you are released from that. And so I went from, moving on from that situation into something completely different. And then finally you get to that point in your life where you know that you're okay on your own, but it's just really nice to have that other person there, and it's a balance for you instead of being a lesson for you.
Much different experience.
It's a different experience, yeah.
I do find it interesting too that when you do have these epiphanies and go, oh my gosh, that's the pattern I'm repeating, and you'll tell someone and they'll go, oh, I could have told you that. It's like, why didn't you?
You may not have listened.
Yeah, true. They probably did try to tell me and I wasn't listening. Exactly.
So the sacral is very, very much about recognition of self. It's very much about understanding your patterns in your life, because everything in karma is a pattern. And as we're releasing one aspect of the pattern, another aspect can come up. And, people say, but I've already healed that. You've healed one aspect of it. You haven't healed the total thing. Otherwise, it wouldn't be coming up again.
There's layers. It's like an onion.
Correct. It always is. One of the things that can bring this out, and let's face it, not all of us look good in orange, but
no, this is, I will attest to that. It's not a colour for everybody. You do need to have a warm undertone.
Yeah. I love it. You can go to varying different degrees of it. Rust is quite pleasant. Actually, I noticed that that's a colour on the spectrum at the moment with the latest fashion. There's a lot of rust colours out there.
There is a lot of rust. If you do struggle with orange, another version of this is watermelon, so you can go on that side of it. So for those that
the
are
tangerines.
kind of adverse, go if you're adverse to orange or burnt orange, maybe go on the watermelon, the pinkier side.
Yeah. So I think that, wearing the vibration is a good idea. Or as I've said many times, if you can't cope with wearing it on the outside, you can always get undies and, like bras and things, or undies if you're fellas, obviously, but, wearing it underneath. But it's the fact of the matter is it's the vibration of the colour. So as soon as you recognise or looking at that colour, the vibration's going to hit you. And then that's going to actually help to activate the chakra, right? When we actually do the meditation on this, we're looking at all things orange in our life. So we're going to be looking at the sunsets. We're going to be looking at the warmth, the sun, the colour of the sun, anything that actually activates that. So being out in sunlight, laying in sunlight, feeling the sunlight on your body, seeing that sunlight going into that chakra and feeding that chakra, that's a really good one as well. You've got to be able to tune into the vibration of the chakras in order to help the chakra open and to release the old patterns
and what's being stuck. So other than wearing colour, we speak about stones, so things like carnelian.
Yeah, so carnelian obviously is one of the most orange stones that we have. So that's a really good colour match. There are a few other stones as well which vibrationally match. So we'd be looking at the coral. We can get coral, which is exactly that. It's natural coral out of the ocean. The gold calcite and also moonstone can be very good for
so
this one.
vibrationally moonstone.
Yeah, because moonstone's very much about the hormonal balance. It's great for women that have maybe a few premenstrual issues and also after menopause. It's a great stone to wear. So moonstone is very much about our hormonal balance and, of course, the reproductive area associated with that. And any of the others are more motivational, so it really helps us to open up that motivation to be able to clear things, and carnelian's awesome. It's a really great stone. I love carnelian. I actually carry it on me pretty much all the time. I have one in my purse. It motivates money towards you as well, so if you want to pop one in your purse or your bag, it helps to open that aspect up, because anything around abundance or money can also be a lack of self-worth. And that comes from that chakra, right? Because we're thinking about all the stuff we've done in the past, and I'm not worthy and all this sort of thing. If you're releasing that, then you're going to bring in the abundance on all levels of your life.
It's known that our diet has a huge impact on our emotional well-being, along with helping to activate these chakras. It's no surprise. So when you're thinking about your sacral, adding things like orange fruits and vegetables like oranges and papaya, these have been actually proven in studies to alleviate depression due to high levels of vitamin B6 and folic acid. Other happy orange fruits and vegetables you can include are things like apricots, nectarines, mangoes, peaches, papaya, carrots, sweet potato, and pumpkin. I think the other thing to think about too is also fragrance. You can introduce different fragrances into your home and even onto your body.
So the essential oils, now probably one of the most common ones in this would be sandalwood. Now sandalwood is absolutely beautiful. I love the smell of sandalwood, but to get the good stuff, you're paying for it. Sandalwood comes from a tree. It's a tree mostly, I think they used to be grown a lot in India. Going back about 10 years ago, there was massive fires that went through all the sandalwood plantations in India, unfortunately, and so it knocked them sort of out of the market for a bit.
But everyone's sacral chakra was fine at that time.
Well, no, it wasn't actually, but there was obviously
India.
There was some karma that was behind that one. So when we're looking at, the sandalwood vibration, it's very much about protection, but it's also about release. So it's important to get the good stuff. The sandalwood you can get in resin as well. That's the genuine sandalwood. Sometimes you'll just get the essences of sandalwood, which aren't always, the full strength, if you like. In other words, get the good stuff. Okay, you might be paying for it, but get it. Fennel, cardamom, clary sage. Now, just want to say with clary sage, we have to be a little careful because there is a contraindication to that one. You can burn clary sage to cause contractions.
If you're pregnant.
If you're pregnant and you're going into labour and you want a bit of help, you can actually burn that to help with the contractions. However, if you are pregnant and you are early stages of pregnancy, I wouldn't go near it. For the obvious reasons.
That's really good for a disclaimer. And people don't really, they're not aware of this when it comes to things like aromatherapy. And what I love about your courses is you do explain this, that, you know, some fragrances aren't good for everything. So when you're be discerning around choosing fragrances, do your research before you just go out and buy a whole heap of this stuff, because some people do have really adverse reactions.
Oh, absolutely. And particularly in pregnancies too, we must be so careful because some of the oils can get on your skin and it can actually cross the placental barrier. So that means it can get into Bubby's bloodstream. So any of the bergamots, which is the citrus blends, is not recommended at all. Okay, so that's just a bit of a contraindication in pregnancies. So when we are looking at the essential oils for this, any of those will help to open up. Now, you could use the essential oils on a tissue. You could smell them, you know, every day if you wanted to keep things flowing in your life and keep this chakra nice and open. You can also burn it in an oil burner while you're meditating. If you're going to go into past lives and you want to clear off old energies from previous lifetimes, that can help you. So it's just the actual vibration of that, which is great. The other thing is lang lang. Now, I love lang lang.
This is a lovely smell.
It is extremely sensual. So if you want to get a little bit of, you know, heat back in the relationship, you might want to sprinkle a bit on his pillow or her pillow if you're a fella listening. It's great for baths. You can, you know, put it into your bath. It's a beautiful scent and it works really well with rose.
Nice combination of the two.
Yeah. I would actually recommend gardenia for anyone who's really trying to release a lot of old emotional baggage. And there's a rose gardenia as well, which is a good crossover. So you could combine the gardenia, the rose and the lang lang together for emotional release. But be prepared to sit there and bawl your eyes out, okay? Because there's a big one. So we are looking at a couple of different aspects to this. So on one hand, we're trying to release old blocks. On the other hand, maybe we're trying to get our creativity happening. We might want to get pregnant. We might want to, you know, as I say, heat up the bedroom a little bit more. You might want to bring your passion back into the relationships, but on a loving level. Whereas the base chakra is very much about the basic passion, which is the lust aspect. This one's more about the loving passion.
Because we're moving up to the heart.
We are moving up. We are getting past the red light district, as we said, into the more let's make a baby. Let's have a family. Let's bring this together. And so the sacral chakra is very much about family and relationships as well.
Wonderful. I'm really excited because we're going to be doing another meditation. So this one's to clear and activate your sacral chakra. So take a moment to find somewhere comfortable and relax while we take you through this.
Taking in a deep breath, consciously relax the muscles of your body, dropping your shoulders, feeling your feet firmly on the floor. Take a deep breath in and blow off any stress or tension from your physical body. Imagine that you're sitting on a beach at sunset. The sky is a beautiful shade of orange as the sun is disappearing behind the sea. Breathe in the orange, taking it down to the sacral chakra just below the navel. Visualize the chakra turning in a clockwise direction, using the orange light to wash away any blocks or fears. Ask to be shown any emotional blocks that may be stored in the sacral. and ask for them to be cleared. Breathing in once again the beautiful orange light, we now breathe in motivation. We breathe in joy. We breathe in happiness. We breathe in creativity. We see this gorgeous, beautiful orange light spreading through our lower body, through the bladder, the reproductive organs, the lower bowel, charging, removing any toxins and negative energy, glowing with that orange light, moving down now through the base chakra and into the legs and down into the Earth Star. The Earth Star now glows red, yellow and orange as it pulses the energy back, charging the base with the red and back into the sacral chakra with the orange light. Now that light moves out through the rest of your body and into your aura. You feel energized, charged and creative. You feel joyous, letting go of any negativity, letting go of any blocks on your life path. Like water, you are flowing with the beauty and joy of life.
Thanks for listening to the Divine Style Podcast. Please follow, share, and tune in weekly for more spiritual and self-love guidance. You can find out more and ask questions at gerlinda.com.au and alisonmaiden.com.